heart I will pray.
After singing a few hymns, Ed and Kathy and I went upstairs to the baptistry, and when I put my foot in that water, it was ice cold. Somebody had turned off the baptistry heater, and it was mid-December. And I thought to myself, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to get in a tub full of ice water. But then I also thought, this is my first church, and this is my first baptism, and I don't want my congregation to think I'm a wimp. So I waded into that water and went down. It took me several minutes to adjust to it, and finally I looked up, and there was Kathy standing at the top of the steps. And I just walked over and reached up and took her hand and helped her down the steps, and when she put her foot in the water, she said two words that I'll never forget as long as I live. She says, I says, I knew if I didn't get Kathy baptized that night, I'd never have another shot at her. So I was holding her hand, and I didn't turn loose. I said, come on, Kathy. She says, And she pulled on me, and I pulled on her. She pulled on me, and I won the tug of war. I pulled a little harder on Kathy. Her feet didn't move, but Kathy moved. She fell down those steps and right on top of me. And the baptistry wasn't very wide. Have you ever tried to get out from under a woman that doesn't know how to get up out of water? I thought it was 30 minutes before she finally got up and left. My wife says it was only 30 seconds. But she finally got up and stormed out, and I stormed out right behind her. I didn't see Ed standing at the top of the steps waiting to be baptized. They say that Ed, when he saw us storm by him, walked down those steps, looked at the congregation, waved to them, held his nose and squatted down in the water, stood back up and waved to the congregation, and made his exit. Nobody ever dared question me whether they were baptized or not. I ruled that they were baptized, and that was final.
Only for my King, take my lips and let them be.
We'll get through a lot of life, and a lot of death, and a lot of grief by just doing the ordinary. Sometimes that can be healing. When your time of trouble comes, your time of disappointment, of exile, and it will come, do the ordinary.
Make you to shine like the sun, and hold you in the palm of his hand.
When our boats start to sink, when the storms threaten and we cry out in panic and terror, don't you care that I am perishing? We have to recognize that Jesus is with us in our boat. We may think he's asleep. We may have put him to sleep with our inattention. We may have even bound and gagged him in the back of the boat with our penchant for certainty. But the point of this story is that he's there, waiting on us to remember he's always there, to admit our need for and dependence on his calming presence. Does Jesus need to wake up, or do we?